My next brief upload for today is with regard to the matters that I've been experiencing that have culminated as treason and that have been of a collective that have been quite fixed and quite determined to the detriment of the Human Rights Declaration and the Constitution of the country, pursuing spiritual offences against Grandmaster Avatar. As I mentioned, my layers of light as a spiritual light worker were damaged between 2016 and still to the present date. Now, unfortunately, they haven't respected the spiritual principles, the spiritual pillars, policies, etc. And they initially violated very strong spiritual protection that is of my experience and also of my bloodline and ancestry. So this matter is quite serious because, or due to the fact that I'm living in a circumstance that is a disrespect to my accomplishments, achievements, my expertise, my education, my profession, my purpose, my role, etc., etc. And there have been individuals that have been quite unstable in their assertions and their exacerbation to the detriment of society. They've caused discomfort and unrest, and they have caused a very serious falsified scenario, which is quite disrespectful to the Constitution of the country and the Declaration of Human Rights. So they have, as I've mentioned in all my previous uploads, dismantled layers of light, and that have involved or included precious gifts, light and blessings from my spiritual experience, and they have abused my current abode and the environment of my abode with a makeshift, vain, futile, shallow attempt to put a proper contingency plan as such in place for their very serious offences between 2016 and 2019. Mid-2019. So the present circumstances were basically, as I've mentioned in my previous uploads, a combination of artificial and my spiritual light that have been exploited, that has been exploited and that has been damaged and disrespected in a circumstance where individuals that have been very offensive, very injurious, very artificial, very superficial in their endeavours to acclaim and to acclimatise and to acquire. So they have disrespected all the rules. They've trespassed and stepped over many lines. They have imposed sanctions to suit themselves with regard to the Hippocratic oath. The hypocrisy is unreal. The damages to the physical, the damages to the anatomy, etc., etc. But the worst is the damage to the spiritual light body, that these people have no entitlement whatsoever to be intruding upon a person's personal space. But they've violated and they have continued and ignored the principles that be, and they have caused very severe damage. So I'm very concerned for these individuals that have not had respect for the principles and policies, not only of the administrative nature of what has occurred with the wrongdoings, the constitutional wrongdoings that they've caused, but also the very dangerous spiritual offences also that they have damaged severely as a consequence of their avarice.